Good morning and welcome to the Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists. My name is Beth White, and I will be your service leader for today on this lovely solstice morning. Yay. We're happy to be here to celebrate the solstice with you, and thank you for bearing with us with our candles. I think we will not turn the lights on because there's enough light. If you are visiting, please participate as you feel comfortable and stay and introduce yourself for conversation afterwards if you're comfortable. Our congregation is committed to individual freedom of belief, welcomes diversity, seeks to promote a sense of community, and fosters religion, which enriches the spirit. We are a mostly lay-led community, strengthened and enriched by weaving together the volunteer contributions of members and friends. As we begin our service, please take a couple of breaths to become fully present. Relax and bring your attention into this moment of communal reflection and sharing. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Subash Coast Salish Native people. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one very small step toward true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you are welcome. I'd like to invite Donna to light the chalice.
The chalice lit among us is a beacon of hope in a world in crisis, a beacon of possibility made manifest in community.
Our opening words. As we gather to celebrate the first turn from winter to spring, we are invited to recognize and honor the beauty in the often unwanted season of winter. Let us invite our hearts to be glad for the courage winter proclaims. Let us be grateful for the wisdom winter brings in teaching us about the need for withdrawal as an essential part of renewal. Let us also encourage our spirits as Earth prepares to come forth from this time of withdrawal into a season filled with light. The winter solstice celebrates the return of hope to our land as our planet experiences the first slow turn towards greater daylight. Soon we will welcome the return of the sun and the coming of springtime. As we do, let us remember and embrace the positive, enriching aspects of winter's darkness. Pause now to sit comfortably in this darkness, in this space. Let this space be a safe enclosure for creative gestation within you.
Time to sing. Please find your gray hymnal for hymn number 188, Come, come, whoever you are. And our dearest Alex is going to help us do a round.
Thank you. Thank you. So when you open your book to 188, you'll see that this song has numbers on top, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it simple and just have 2 parts. So we'll all sing it together through once. And then this side of the room, this half, will start again where it says 2. And this half, we will start where it says 1. And then we'll continue singing it 3 more times. So a total of 4 times. Just a little bit of help makes it so beautiful when we do it. This Rumi poem. Enjoy. Okay. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Perfect. Perfect. Today is the winter solstice. This is the day that the sun is lowest in the sky and is also at its farthest southern point over the earth. It is all about the earth's tilt on its axis. Since 7 o'clock this morning, the earth is now beginning its creep back north again. This is the day that we turn back toward the light. Really? Winter solstice has great symbolism and has throughout history. Embodying in this day are themes of renewal, new beginnings, and inner strength and growth. For some, it is a time to set intentions. You will hear these themes and the idea of light in the pieces we have written. As we have written about hope over the last few weeks, we have noticed overlapping ideas and references among ourselves as well as with the other speakers we have heard this month. We celebrate our interconnections and hope our words will nourish you as you move through this day of the winter solstice.
When I first learned of choosing hope as our theme for this service, I thought, no way. I am not without hope. I am without hope. And how on earth can I be inspirational about something that is missing in my spirit? I was the last in our group to write. I've been uncharacteristically discouraged and hopeless since the election. I've had to dig deep and read the wisdom of others to find my own voice in hope. The research I have done has helped me immeasurably to choose hope during this time of collective suffering. I've learned of several kinds of hope, and will follow this beautiful word from different perspectives and different sources. For starters, the dictionary refers to hope as a desire for something good to happen. Let's build on that. Desmond Tutu proclaimed in the face of generations of apartheid, from which he and thousands suffered, that, quote, hope is being able to see that there is light despite the darkness, end quote. His message to find hope in the face of pain and suffering invites us to embrace faith that the tide will turn. The light will appear as a crack in the darkness. Faith implying complete trust in the ultimate emergence of light. Scholars say that faith is a spiritual exercise that provides hope, trusting completely in our hopefulness. We dig deep in our hearts to believe. Tutu certainly had faith to offer hope to people living with suffering, his words reverberating all over the world years after his death. Hope can be kindling for the fire. A little spark of hope can ignite love, energy, and compassion. This is Tutu's hope when light appears in the midst of darkness. Here is a story about something different called outcome-based hope, perhaps more familiar to us. These times when we hope for something specific that we want. 36 years ago, my husband and I were struggling to build a family, a time of disappointment and unfulfilled dreams. We ultimately turned to the possibility of adopting an infant. Patty, my childhood friends, left me with encouraging words. You have to believe your baby's out there, Beth. You have to believe. In other words, I needed to have faith, to be hopeful that in spite of our struggles, there was a baby waiting for us. I went home repeating the phrase, enlisting hope in Patty's words. Less than 2 weeks later, she connected me with a college friend of mine who ultimately led us to adopting our daughter, Eliza. This is outcome-based hope. From a different perspective, Nelson Mandela spoke beautifully. Quote, our human compassion binds us to one another as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future, end quote. Powerful words from a man whose suffering exceeded bounds during his 27 years in prison. I salute his message of our human compassion being the glue that transforms suffering into hope. We all have suffered emotionally, gone to dark places in our hearts and minds, and we have come to the other side, hopefully. We offer those close to us tender compassion for their struggles. The love, compassion, and care that we can give in times of need is powerful medicine. It helps us feel hopeful for an easier, better tomorrow. Compassion for our suffering is a partner with hope. It is a gift, an offering a possibility of transformation, of love. It is a deep, intimate connection that can birth hope. Ultimately, we are challenged to accept all that transpires, no matter the outcome. This can be difficult, yet aspirational for our spiritual well-being. We can thoughtfully consider our response to the outcomes of our hopefulness, especially when faced with difficult or painful outcomes. In truth, we do not know what will happen from moment to moment. Our challenge is to be comfortable, at peace in not knowing, as we live with the uncertainty of each moment. I am challenged in my faith to accept whatever comes my way, to consider that while things may not turn out as I imagined, opportunities for something new could arise. I have to shift the orientation of my heart trusting in my capacity to find the good. So this discouraged writer and speaker has chosen hope as a crack of light in the midst of darkness. Hope is a vehicle of compassion that I can offer to others. And importantly, I can stretch myself to lean into the uncertainty of what my hope will bring.
When my husband Martin was in the throes of his cancer, we knew that he would not survive the 2 mutations for which there was no known treatment. A friend asked me, "Don't you have hope?" I replied that I didn't, but that what I knew deep inside me was that I wanted to support him fully, in whatever way I could, with love. That was my path. She was struck, even startled, by my response, and couldn't understand how I couldn't have hope. I grew up thinking of hope as a kind of wish. I could hope for something and it would be provided by some higher being. As I grew into adulthood, I grew out of the belief in an external higher being and away from the hope I had associated with it. I realized that I've not used the word hope very much in my life since that growth. Writer and educator Krista O'Reilly has helped me understand why. She says, "We think of hope as an emotion, but hope is actually more a way of thinking or a state of being. Hope has a couple of key characteristics. A sense of agency, so that's the feeling that you have some measure of control, and the belief that we can produce pathways to our desired goals. This helps us grow and heal. Agency and a pathway to our goals. Some writers say this kind of hope is like putting down roots that hold your feet. I felt this as Martin was becoming more and more frail. My decision to have my path be love meant that I focused on his lead. This focus grew roots that held me steady. It was that focus that held me up, believing that I could help him by acting out of an abiding love through his process. I never thought to call this hope, but now I realize it was. In the years since Martin's passing, I've continued to practice that hope that O'Reilly describes. I've kept my focus on my belief that I could shape each day with meaning and purpose, working on goals that I hoped to achieve. I'm still on this path. I have intentionally done important projects that enable me to take care of our 5-acre place on my own. It's taken lots of work, and many times I've had to put one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, so as not to be overwhelmed. But I have held to my path. It's the only way I could have gotten through this time, and it's grown me and it has healed me. Writer Matthew Crosfault uses words that I can identify with. People speak of hope as if it's a delicate, ephemeral thing made of whispers and spider webs. It's not. Hope has dirt on her face, blood on her knuckles, the grit of the cobblestone under her nails, and she just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go. So I have risen a number of times for another go, but I still have my teeth. Hope is a choice and a practice, and hope is active. Hope is an act of courage. Many who have written about hope speak of our finding a little bit of light, and Beth talked about that light, that enables us to start on the path, to take the first steps towards the future we want. For me, that little bit of light is the gratitude I hold for the life I've built here with Martin, and for my 2 girls and their families who live nearby. These little bits of light have provided a kind of scaffolding for me. It's what has held me strong, something I've been tethered to. I'm gifted with the belief that by my actions I can shape my life. The idea of these little bits of light leads me to thinking about my privilege, the secure place where I am able to launch on the path of hope. What is it like for those who do not have this security, not blessed with food, a home, or money to give their children the lives they want for them? What is it like to feel darkness, depression, the inability to see any light, any path to the future? I want to live in a way that offers that little bit of light to others. The feeling of support, of possibility, and of hope. Writer and activist Rebecca Solnit says about hope, if you take the long view, you'll see how startlingly, how unexpectedly, but regularly, things change. Not by magic, but by the incremental effect of countless acts of courage, love, and commitment. The small drops of water that wear away stones and carve new landscapes. Everything is in motion, and sometimes we ourselves are that movement. This is how I think of hope, that we ourselves are that movement. By the incremental effect of our acts of courage, love, and commitment, each of us is one of those small drops of water that wear away stone. Sometimes this is our work in social and environmental justice, like our Tanya. In other movements to which we commit ourselves. And often it is in our own personal lives, in our relationships, and how we live our values. We are ourselves the movement. Hope is like a muscle. It is a practice and attitude of mind. May we learn to live into hope in our lives, and may we be that little bit of light for others.
I believe that hope and belief are intertwined, which means they're woven together. Belief is rooted in the present and values. Hope leans towards the future in hopeful actions like laying that first brick or planting that first seed. These two are intertwined because belief is the bedrock, a value that I hold dear in my heart. Hope is alive, active, and open to being chosen again and again. One of my heroes is Jane Goodall. Jane believed that hope is more than an emotion. It is a deliberate choice. She saw hope as a call to act together, bridge differences, and believe that every individual can make a difference. So in alignment with Goodall, choosing hope is an act of courage. I have a triad of divinity that are the foundation of my spiritual beliefs. And one of the legs of that stool is Mother Nature. The other two legs are divine love and universal intelligence. This triad also demonstrates how belief and hope are intertwined for me, because these three divine energies are what I collectively flow into for setting heartfelt intentions for what I choose to hope for. For example, out of my belief in Mother Nature's divinity, I've chosen to hope that composting my food scraps, as Jane Goodall said, makes a difference for our planet versus just throwing them in the garbage. It feels full circle that I can compost my food scraps in a few hours in my kitchen and then dig that compost into my garden beds. This is choosing hope as a deliberate action, and inside my action is the valuable belief that Mother Nature matters. Choosing hope has been even more present this year. My daughter invited me last November to join her in family therapy. And since she is training to become a licensed therapist, I accepted. I believe that being in therapy with her would teach me much more than I could learn from hearing her stories, and the therapy could bring us even closer. Before we meet weekly with a therapist, I review my practices, that I'm dedicated to being present, curious, connected, compassionate. And I choose to hope that embodying these beliefs brings stronger and deeper connections to our relationship. Finally, since 2017, I have joined the Oneness movement. Every day that I meditate using tools I learn from Oneness, I choose to hope that this action impacts the whole world, this interconnected web of life, and spreads more peace. Do you know the song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth"? It was written in 1955 by Jill Jackson and Cy Miller for Global Understanding. It goes, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." As I meditate, I feel and experience peace and inner stillness, no thinking. It's as if the whole world has melted into one. There's no chasm between belief and hope. There's no separation between each of us. And because hope is a choice and bridges differences, I choose to hope that my meditation practice makes a difference to each of you, your loved ones, and the whole world. Peace to all. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
A friend recently shared this delightful expression from the Quechua-speaking people of Peru. In their language, the way they say thank you is, "A little bird flies from my heart to yours." I love that image, and I think it applies to hope as well. All the times we receive a message of hope or send one out to someone, it's like a little fluttering bird of goodwill. I hope you recover quickly. I hope we can get together soon. I hope the peace agreement will hold. Maybe Emily Dickinson felt this way about hope when she wrote, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." This notion of hope, of wishing each other well, is vital to our connections with the human and the more than human world. But there is another kind of hope I would like to talk about here. Hope that is beyond a particular outcome or result. One of my teachers, Roshi Joan Halifax, the abbot of Upaya Zen Center in Santa Fe, talks about wise hope. In her words, wise hope is not seeing things unrealistically, but rather seeing things as they are, including the truth of suffering, both its existence and our capacity to transform it. It's when we realize we don't know what will happen that this kind of hope comes alive. For me, the notion of wise hope connects with one of the practices that Florence Kaplow shared with us in her wonderful talk a few weeks ago. She talked about the practice of not knowing. When I remember that I don't really know what the future will bring, it opens up a world of possibilities. And maybe with some intention, I can let go of needing to have things go a certain way. Just seeing that I am attached to a particular outcome can be helpful. Perhaps a little nudge toward opening to things I hadn't considered before. As Roshi Joan said, letting go of our certainty allows hope to come alive. Frank Ostaseski, co-founder of the Zen Hospice Project, describes what he calls mature hope in the context of end-of-life care. Rather than being fixated on a desired outcome, mature hope rests in uncertainty because we don't know what is going to happen next. He says that mature hope is an orientation of the heart, grounded in value and trust in our basic human goodness, not in what we might achieve. How do we nourish this deep orientation toward wise hope, mature hope, or what Joanna Macy calls active hope? These three expressions all point to the same thing, resting in not knowing, which invites a broader perspective on possible outcomes. That broader perspective can inform my decisions about wise action that supports my values. For me, it is a practice that requires remembering what I really don't know, that I really don't know if my actions will bear the intended fruit. And I want to emphasize the word practice, a way of cultivating an orientation toward hope that stands up to the turmoil that swirls all around us. I have found that the practice of not knowing is a natural component of meditation. As I sit with my thoughts, I can't help but notice that they come and go, sometimes like a gentle river, and sometimes more like a thundering waterfall. Trying to grasp onto a particular thought or feeling is often an exercise in futility. As I have come to appreciate the ephemeral nature of mind over the years, I have become more comfortable with not knowing, which in turn allows for greater fluidity in how I think about hope. At least that is what I aspire to. These days, one of the main contexts in which I aspire to practice wise hope is in my role as a grief tender. As some of you know, I have been facilitating grief rituals for a number of years. Work that offers support for processing all the threads of grief we carry, my own as well as that of others. There have been many times that I have felt assailed by my grief and hoped to endure it long enough to get over it, hopefully without disturbing anyone else. And I think many people who step into grief work are hoping it will free them from the deep sorrow they are carrying. And just like that, it will be done. But what I know deep in my bones is that there's no magic formula for processing grief. I can't know which song or which story or which element of ritual will bring a moment of healing. But I can cultivate presence that welcomes all expressions of grief. That presence is embedded in wise hope. Hope that honors the relationship we all have with grief, and then that includes possibilities for transformation. I am choosing hope that rests in the innate wisdom of all beings, wisdom that knows how to be with our grief for the world.
Let's hold a moment of contemplation and worship, an old English word that means to consider things of worth in a generous and abundant silence. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 118 in your gray hymnal, This Little Light of Mine. And any of you, choir, come on up. Let's sing together.
This light of mine.
you guys. Not bad at all. I think we got it. Members and friends of the Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists, we commit to supporting our congregation. Financial resources help us pay speakers and staff, support our social justice programs, and maintain our building. Please support VIUU with your pledges and offerings so that we can continue to be a vital community. Our congregation engages beyond our walls for peace, social and economic justice, freedom of belief, and protection of our planet and its inhabitants. Once a month, we contribute the financial offering to a regional, national, or international organization that aligns with our values. This week's offering supports our beloved community. Our greeters will now pass around the offertory while we sing "Oh, We Give Thanks."
We give thanks for this precious day. We're all gathered here, those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We're all gathered here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
The closing reading is written by John O'Donohue. He's a poet, philosopher, well known for his books on Celtic spirituality. And Banach is... Banach, thank you. I've been working on this for a couple of days. Well, I think to honor him, I wanted to say it correctly.
It's a hard word to say. Bianach.
Banach. I was trying to get the end of it rather than the beginning, I guess. So. Anyway, it's a blessing that he wrote, and when he talked about this, he's no longer alive. When he talked about this blessing, he said, and I was hoping that this might set your mind in a certain orientation, he wanted to cast seed into the earth of the heart. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the currach of thought, and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. And may the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life.
We extinguish our chalice with these words by Rebecca Solnit. Hope is the embrace of the unknown and unknowable. Hope locates itself in the premise that we don't know what will happen, and that in that the spaciousness of uncertainty is the room to act.
man, I really appreciate being able to pick a song to fit into a ceremony like this, into a service like this. This is not the one I expected to play, but it seems to be the right one. This is one of mine. I wrote this during a particularly difficult time some years ago that ended. Shauna, by coincidence, this is when the first time I was dealing with the same cancer that you had too. And it was not going to kill me, but it was awful anyway. That was the first time. But it turns out, remember when we were teenagers? and having your skin break out on prom night was the worst thing in the end of the world? It turns out that nothing really is, oh my God, my life is over until, the thing that does that, whatever that is. So anyway, I wrote this. During that time, I didn't realize how many people around me were either reaching out or were also going through some real shit. And might have, they just kind of shared it as a matter of course, because that's how you do. There you are. Don't go too fast, don't go too fast, don't go too fast. I don't know. Like you'd never faltered. You moved like you still had faith. Head down and a turned up collar. Through a string of long hard days. Walking through the darkest passage. Though you saw no light ahead. And your greatest act of courage was taking one more step. You raised your voice in sorrow till you heard no other sound. Saw nothing but your own shadow with your eyes turned toward the ground. And when at last some kindness found you, then it was as though you had slept. And the crowd in the dark all around you were all taking one more step. Standing water, it may someday come to freeze. So you'll tell your sons and your daughters how to live through times like these. Tell them when their hearts are frozen to trust their feet instead. When there is nothing left but motion and taking one more step. And when we find that we are laughing and we are running in the sun, and know that we still are breathing and the long dark night is done. Finally resting from the battle, wondering where our feet have led, amazed at how we travel by taking one more step.
Thank you so much, Kat. Let's just pause for a moment. So before we go to announcements, there's a little bit of gratitude. Thank you to Kat for beautiful music. Thank you to Catherine for your tech work, always. For the Mystery and Wonder team, thank you. And for setup team number 3. And for all the candles. Yeah. So after our announcements, we hope you join us for refreshments and coffee and good conversation. But if you do have an announcement to share that is related to a VIUU activity, please come up and tell us all about it.
God, you know, we are so fortunate to be here. I mean, I don't know, what an amazing, that people can share the stuff that's the hardest in their hearts, and that they somehow we've made as a society not okay is just so amazing. And I'm honored to be part of this group. So next week is on the 28th. Reverend Florence Kaplow will be here to do the service, and that's our opportunity as a congregation to say yes, that indeed we want her to be our next minister. So we need people to come and to appreciate her, to be part of that, and then to vote yes. And if you can't be here, which is fine, please find someone to be a proxy. That would be great. The more votes, the better. Oh, and here's the really good part. The board is going to provide food. Yeah, Jessica's coordinating it, and she's also gotten permission from the Burton Church to spread light throughout. So thank you for the impetus to do that. And I think that we're not actually going to do the hour afterwards with the food. I think what we're going to do instead is just stay after. We're going to finish the service. We're going to ask Reverend Kaplow to take a little walk. And then we're going to invite her back in and announce our results. And then we're going to transform this into a lunch place. So we're going to move tables and do all that stuff. So anyway, so please come. And again, thank you all for being part of this amazing community.
Good morning and happy solstice. My name is Burdette, and as a relative newcomer to this community, I'm very happy to say that I am part of the Starting Point group, the sessions, that will be happening beginning January 18th, every other week. Very concise sessions. It's a great opportunity to regroup in your beliefs and if you're a newcomer, it's a great way to learn about UU, and if you're not a newcomer, it's a great way to refocus on your place in the community. There's a sign-up sheet over here, and it's beginning again January 18th, 3 sessions, and we hope to see you there. Thanks so much.
Is it going to happen here?
Yes. Yes.
I'll keep this short and sweet. It's basically housekeeping. We had a wonderful women's group meeting this month. We have one in January and February, Maya and you, right? For January and February for the women's group at your house? For January. Oh, January and February. We picked 2 people, Maya and we'll start with your January and then your February. You'll see, okay. Well, anyway, there were leftovers. But the leftovers, no, it wasn't food. It was things that people left at my house. And one's a really nice baking dish, so you want to get it back in the corner. And there's an umbrella, and you rescued your hat today. Thank you. That's it. Love you all.
Burdette, I just wanted to ask you, there's no time on here.
Right after service.
Okay. Right after service. Okay. That's good for everybody to know. Hi, my name is Alex, and what a beautiful service. Thank you so much. Transforming Mystery and Wonder Group. So deep. And thank you, everybody, for being so open to being vulnerable. It really, community is what we have, and it's so beautiful. I wanted to tell you about the service after next Sunday, and that's a New Year's service, and it dovetails really nicely with the service, and there will be participation, and we'll set up this into quadrants, and it's a beautiful service that I love to do. It always changes a little. And I was just remembering, Kat, during COVID, when we were meeting online, we did a service, and you sang that song, and the whole service was around John O'Donohue, and it was a New Year's service with that. So it changes, and I hope you come, whoever is here. It's a lovely service.
Let's stand and send each other out with Go Now in Peace.